Welcome to Down South Football Podcast, people. Man, before we even get started today, I just got to say, I love college football. That's all I got to say. Before we get into it, this is getting wild. It's getting wild and wilder each and every week, boy. But anyway, this is your boy Renard D. Williams, and to the right, left, whichever way you're looking at, is I got Chauncey Tuck, and then to the left, right of him is Mr. I Am DJ Double Dose, Mr. Ben Dennis. How y'all doing tonight, fellas? What's good?
We good, man. Hanging on in there, man. Tuck in the building today, man. So we hanging on in there, man.
Yeah, we got a little bit of special circumstance. Let me explain that to y'all today. Y'all like, wait a minute, somebody missing. David had some work stuff come up. He couldn't join us this time, but he'll be back for the prediction show later on this week and whatever else we got going on. And fortunately, we've had storms and stuff in this area, and we've had some power outages and internet outages. So Tuck is actually at Ben's house. And they're kind of like in the same room, but Ben got this big man cave. So I mean, they're people, before you ask, they're 6 feet spread apart. You know what I'm saying? They're doing their thing. So
to the utmost.
So we have to make sure that the mic stuff and everything play good together today. But anyway, fellas, what's going on? Before we get into it, man, I want to take a time out, man, and say prayers up for DeMarcus Thomas, man.
Yes, sir.
The guy at Ole Miss football that basically lost, I guess you could say, lost feeling, got hurt at
feeling
practice.
And everything. Mm-hmm.
Man, that's prayers up for him. And before we get into any games, we're gonna kind of keep it the same format we did last time. I just got to let y'all know that somebody to go to Gainesville and talk to Dan Mullen. Because
Dan Mullen rolled for the squad, man. I can't even hate on him for it, man.
You can't hate on him for it. He
rolled for the squad. He rolled for the squad, man. Even though he had security and state troopers and everybody else holding him back.
This is not the high school frat. You can't be rolling for your squad when you making millions. And if he would have handled it differently, it'd have been a whole different story. He came out there talking about he wasn't trying to incite them, but you go out there getting in people's faces. He is a lucky man for only a $25,000 fine. I'll tell you that much. And that's a joke considering that Lane Kiffin got $25,000 for a damn retweet. And he went out there and caused basically a riot, acting like a spoiled brat. Dan Mullen, get your crap together, man.
Look, this is what I want to talk about Dan Mullen. Look.
Oh, God.
He's a child. That was a child, man. He even went to the press conference dressed as Darth Vader. That's right. I'm like, you're a kid, man.
What are we doing? What are we doing
here? We got adults. Somebody need to be an adult on the field. And shout out to Drinkwich. He was the adult in the whole on his press conference. He was the thing. What he said, well, I didn't see everybody do this. I didn't see everybody. What we're gonna do is replay the tape, and we're gonna figure out, because I just got a hearsay. I just need to see what happened with what my coaches and my players. I really don't know what happened. But my boy, what's his old hunchback of Notre Dame looking self, went out there and tried to pump up the crowd, try to get, look, dude, your whole team had COVID. First of all, you don't need to get near me. I would have been nowhere near that. I've been nowhere near him, first and foremost. Secondly, bro, why are you up there pumping up the crowd when your whole team is in the locker room and you out there looking like you got two left hands and like, come on, bro.
I'm so confused at Mullen's last few weeks, whether it's losing to Texas A&M and then saying the crowd was the issue, whether it's coming in and saying
to want 90,000
in the crowd, to having COVID, to having where they are now. I'm so confused. But look, we're gonna move on to something a little bit brighter.
Yeah. But I will say this now before you move on from this.
Go ahead.
And I heard everything y'all said. But as crazy as it's gonna sound, it's gonna come out of my mouth. From a recruiting standpoint, all they are gonna see is their coach was riding for the team no matter what. And in some weird kind of way, it may not affect a bunch of recruits, but one or two dudes that probably was on the fence, they're gonna look at that and be like, you know what? Oh, Dope and Dan, all right, man. You know what I'm saying? He all right, man. You know, kids is different. They weird when it comes to recruiting. Y'all know that. Y'all know that they weird.
I'm gonna let y'all have that.
If a kid goes to Florida, they're going for the Jordans. That's the only reason they're going.
Look, I'm gonna let y'all have that take, and I would just say I 106 bazillion million disagree with Ben take, but I'm gonna let Ben have that take, and we gonna move on. Whoo, sweet Jesus, mother. How y'all? Anyway, back to what we was talking about, man. Let's just scroll through a few scores here, man. Some games we're not gonna be able to get into. So see how y'all feel about some of these. What we had going on. We had Texas A&M, man. Texas A&M. I'm telling y'all, watch out for them, man. They gonna, if Bama lose somehow, some way. Hey, it might be a little bit of a contest, man. You know, CLEMSON looking solid. Texas A&M was 42, Arkansas 31. Arkansas keep hanging in them, man. Don't
shout out to Arkansas, man. They just rolling right along, man. 31 points, man. They just hanging on in there, man.
Keep doing your thing, Pittman. Keep doing your thing. Notre Dame 31, Georgia Tech 13. There's nothing need to be said. These are games we're not covering. Georgia and Kentucky. Oh boy!
Look, you want to call it a slugfest, ugly, whatever you want to put on it.
That's that game. We're gonna talk about Georgia on Thursday night. So we gonna move on. We gonna move on from that one, man.
Ugly.
And speaking of Mullen, Florida 41, Missouri 17. BYU, Zach Wilson, top 3 quarterback in the country. Yeah, I said it. 41 with Western Kentucky 10. Harbaugh.
Hey Jim.
Harbaugh. You do not like prosperity. I told you this last year. You don't like it.
We said he found the quarterback. We were wrong.
I'm holding out judgment. Second game in, be quiet, but you lost 27-24. You can't do that. Speaking of teams that lost, kind of didn't see this one coming. Virginia 44, North Carolina 41.
Hey Sam.
Uh-oh.
Hey Sam. I mean he threw almost 500. He threw almost 500. But you know, it just
let it go. Let it go. We not gonna stop. West Virginia 37, Kansas State 10. The Mountaineers, appreciate that, brother. Indiana, you can't believe what? So what now?
I cannot believe that Kansas State dropped the whole game, because I was like, what in the world going on? I thought the quarterback was hurt. No. I thought the offensive line was up. No. Don't get me wrong. West Virginia does play absolutely perfect at home, but I did not think it was going to. Like I said, middle note. From now on. Yes, Renard picked West. By the way, yes, Renard did pick West Virginia. West Virginia to beat Kansas State. So,
oh yeah. I got to get y'all on now. Indiana 37, Rutgers 21. Indiana still rolling. Michael Penix Jr. still doing his thing. Next thing we got, and this game was for everything that I did right this weekend, Tuck. This game I did absolutely wrong. It wasn't on here, but it was on the ticket. Coastal Carolina 51. Georgia State nothing.
I just want to know who was smoking whatever to think Georgia State was decent. It was you weren't the only ones though, because a lot of college game guys picked Georgia State too. I'm like,
I'm glad it was on a small ticket. I'll just say that.
Right. And I was just like, have y'all not seen them play this year?
Right.
I was like, okay, whatever, but yeah, it ain't just you, Don. But
I know it ain't just me. But
I want to thank Dave. I think David Pollard picked him. I think Desmond Howard, and I think Kurt. I can't remember Kurt, but they even did a special on them. Coastal Carolina was like, why y'all don't pick us? And still people went against them. And not only did they go against them, but Coastal Carolina came out and blew these boys out 51-0.
I'm telling you, man, they're a great story. I don't know how great of a team they are.
That's what the funny part was. They had this whole segment on game day about the end of the game rituals, right, and all of this stuff about how nobody gave them respect and all of this stuff. And like you said, they still was just like, Georgia Southern, Georgia State. I'm sorry, Georgia State.
I'm talking about they were the hot gambling pick at a 3-point underdog. They was hot, but anyway,
Shout out to the Chanticleers.
There you go. You said it right. I'm glad you said it because I wasn't going to try.
The Chanticleers.
SMU 51, Navy 37, Iowa State 52, Kansas 22. They said this is the worst Kansas team that they probably ever seen, and that's saying a hell of a lot.
Damn,
Oklahoma 62, Texas Tech 28. Oklahoma just sitting back there doing their thing, rolling as they normally do. Boise State 49, Air Force 30. Some interesting games that happened in that particular thing, but we're going to concentrate on about 4 or 5 games. We're going to get in and out people, so hope y'all be able to join us Thursday night for some special predictions and a special guest. But let's start with Friday night. Let's start with Minnesota and Maryland. We got to start there because the Gophers had a 3-touchdown lead going into the fourth quarter, and they let it slip away. It was not great for them. I looked at it. I mean, Minnesota offense just really went dud in the. Let me see. I got to look right here. They went dud in the second. I mean, in the second half, fourth quarter. Excuse me. Yeah. They really just faltered, man. I was just like, okay. And then, as y'all like to call them, baby Talia, you know. He had to stand up after the game he just had last week, man. Like he had to stand up. Now the bright spot for Minnesota, what's his name? Mohamed Abrin. The running. Whatever. Yeah.
200 plus.
He was a machine, but man, Minnesota got some issues.
This is the thing. If you run him 30 to 40 times, yes, you're going to have 200 something yards. He was told it though. Don't get me wrong.
41 to be exact. 41.
Thank you, research and development. All right, so, bruh, I watched this game. I was like, let me see what's wrong with Talia. Let me see what's wrong with him. Because I was like, I saw him here at Alabama at Thompson High School. He could spin it. But he would he had that Bo Nix thing that he can't stay in the pocket, you know. So I would just wanted to see what his problem was. But this game, I guess, Loxley pulled him to the side and said, "Hey, I need you to stay in the pocket. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna set you up, put you in better situations." Don't get me wrong. Yes, they were down 21 points in the fourth quarter, but they were up 21-7 going into the second quarter.
True.
So, and you know. I think Minnesota had found their groove, but they wasn't passing the ball. They were just straight up running, and I'm just like, "Are y'all worried about something? The wind swirling around that they can't throw the ball?" So it was a lot of issues that I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" Don't get me wrong, Tallulah was spinning it. He was putting it on the receivers, and I don't know the white boy name that would be on the running back, but he was toting that thing too.
That's that boy funk. He's funk. You know what I'm saying?
So much colorism.
He was told that thing. I had to give him. He got a faster Mike Allstott. That's what he was looking like out there.
You know, so it go to your point about efficiency. See, Ibrahim, he had 41 carries for 207. P-Funk had 21 carries for 221.
Who is P-Funk?
J-Funk, the running back, the running back from Maryland.
Why are you shortening that man's name? Why are you giving that man a nickname?
He deserves a nickname. When you run for 221 yards on 21 carries, man, you deserve a nickname, man. P-Funk, man. Give him P-Funk.
We've lost control. Jesus, take the wheel. I'm done. I don't have nothing to say when it comes to that. Woo. Okay, let's just sum this up, man. Look, good win for you, Maryland. But, bruh, before we even go there, I just need to get y'all comments on the extra point. Like
it was simultaneously. We sent it together. Tuck sent his video. I sent mine. It's like we must have sent them at the same time. Both of us just looking like he really missed this. I mean, we said it in real time. Like he really missed this point.
Bruh, it happens. But they said they've been struggling with kickers and stuff all week.
Let me tell you something. I can't stand kickers. I can't. Yeah, I can't stand kickers because look, bro. This is what was it? It was an extra point. It wasn't a field goal. I could deal with a field goal. I could deal with it, but an extra point from now on, if I know, right, you know, my thing is from now on, if you're at that 2.5 yard line, just go for two. Just go for two, especially if you know that your field goal kicker is struggling. Go for two, fam, because you have a better chance actually of scoring the 2-point conversion than you do making the kick. Because I mean, get me wrong, I know Fleck them had some goddamn play that they could have ran and got 2.5 yards. Because the way what's 45 carries? How many carries did he have, man?
41.
42 carries.
What's 42? What's one more carry? Look, your quarterback arm was fresh. He only threw the ball 15 times, so he was good and fresh.
Well, good deal on that, but good win for y'all guys, man. For Maryland, happy for him, happy for Talia. But we're gonna move on to Clemson and Boston College. Ooh. Boy, I didn't know where we were going with that, but let me go on and say DJ Uiagalelei.
Oh, you're gonna attempt it. You're gonna attempt it. He is DJ to me, sir.
Uiagalelei. My man. God, now we got that over with. That's what happen when you have to break them syllables down. But the crazy part about it, in his first start, he made history by leading the biggest comeback in the history of the Death Valley. You know what I'm saying? That's a shout out to him. But for real, before we get into Clemson, man, because everybody want to talk about Clemson, shout out to Boston College. Shout out to Jeff Hartlett, man. I told y'all, man, I've been on that train for the past couple of weeks now. I ain't even gonna come in there and do what they did. But Zay Flowers, Florida product, and then
he been a beast. He been a beast.
And then CJ Lewis, that one hand catch, that was just for Tuck, because he's from where? Hamden, Connecticut.
Where's Connecticut? Renard, where is it? It is above the line.
Above the Mason-Dixon line.
Barely.
It's above it there.
Anyway, we not going there. We not going there.
For DMV.
Connecticut?
Oh, you said Connecticut. Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were from Virginia.
No. He's from Connecticut. But
every dog has his day.
Oh, moving on. I got a couple more dogs in here for you. Anyway, shout out to the offense, man. And I just it's just a really great thing to see Boston College, man. Like, they were really competing and had them boys messed up. Tessitore, I thought that was a cool moment to see Joe Tessitore be able to call his son that did the fake hike or whatever. And got Clemson offside, man. I thought that was pretty cool. You can tell he was a proud dad at that moment, man. But before we get into Clemson and what I feel like what happened, what's y'all feelings on the game?
I guess for me, once I really realized how much of an NFL staff that Boston College has, he got a couple of guys that, you know, were all in the NFL that came to help him. They came to help him coach. For me, that's going to be something to watch going forward, because if they can somehow recruit what they need at Boston College, they can actually turn that. I mean, Boston College really hadn't been bad over the years. They've not been good, but they haven't been bad. They ain't been bad. They've been solid. Go look at their records. They have not bottomed out.
I see.
Yeah, they haven't bottomed out. You know what I'm saying? Like they hadn't bottomed out. So what I'm saying is, with the type of players that they could possibly recruit with that staff, it's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward. Unfortunately, you know, they always going to end up playing Clemson and Florida State every year. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But I think they can get the type of athletes that they need in there.
You just slid Florida State in that conversation, huh? You just
hey man. I mean, overall now. Us against Florida. Overall, we got to win the record.
Okay, so the research department just went and saw the record. Because I was pretty sure that I was right about this, but okay. So last year there was 6 and 7, 7 and 5.
Yeah, Steve Adazio, right?
Yeah,
right.
6 and 7, 5, 76, 76.
Yeah.
3-9, 7-6. They got bowl games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've been like that. They've been solid. Now that 3-9 year was an outlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it really an outlier when you 7-6 all those years? Or is it just an average?
When you consistently winning 5 to 7 games, that 3 was kind of like an outlier. Because Boston College they've always played hard.
So
always.
five. Yeah, I mean, of course. I'm just saying 5 to 7 games. That's just not gonna move any whatever.
Well, for him, he can improve on that and make that possibly 8 or 9, definitely. Which would be an improvement.
And Hartley came from Ohio State. Hartley knows how to
right.
You know what I'm saying? Hartley got that background. So I mean, I was happy for him. But moving back to the Clemson side, man. First of all, I got to give Venables credit for coming out in the second half and making some great adjustments that he finally did. And like I said to y'all in the group, Turner's going to be a liability for them. I like Nolan Turner. That's Kevin Turner's son for y'all Alabama fans out there. But he going to be a liability for them moving forward. And looking at also, man, the most underrated player in the country, the most not respected player in the country, Travis Etienne, just did another 224 yards, you know what I'm saying, together, improved his receiving a lot. He was dangerous out of the backfield this game. So I look at DJ, now I can just say DJ Ben.
Big Cinco, that's my call. Big Cinco.
Yeah, we done.
He was efficient as hell. Yeah, DJ was.
He had some great adjustments. He had some great moments. He had some freshman moments, which you expect. I don't think them getting down by 18 was a total product of him, of course, because they did have some people out. But I'm not putting on that either. I just believe they just got outplayed. And I believe they got outplayed in the first half with a few little mistakes and stuff like that. I'm sure Dabo Jr. will come back with his dissertation on what happened with Clemson.
And here's the thing, though. If anybody has watched Clemson over the years, well, especially since they've been on their run, they always have a game like this. They always have that one game where you look at it, it is quote unquote their wake-up call. Last year, it was North Carolina. North Carolina took them all the way to the wire, and they ended up pulling it out, and it was their quote-unquote wake-up call. Yeah, and Syracuse play them hard with,
every
year. So they always have those 1 or 2 games where it's just like, not necessarily going through the motions, but in this case, they kind of had a semi-excuse because, Trevor wasn't there. Like you said, DJ found out on Thursday night, like, hey, bro, Saturday morning, man.
You up.
Like, he literally had 1 day of reps with the starters, on Friday. So when you look at that, it's kind of one of those situations where this possibly was their wake-up call to a certain degree. Now, they got Notre Dame next week. We already know Trevor's not going to play. But like somebody pointed out, now you give DJ an entire week with the starting squad, with the reps, and we'll see where they go from there. But we'll talk about that on Thursday.
And before I turn it over to Tuck, one of the biggest things is that if we talking about the Clemson game, I will say this about DJ. He's a confident California kid, and that shows the way he talks. Number 2, I'm going to tell y'all this week, Clemson Tigers, Tiger Nation, don't let Notre Dame get the lead. Because they get the lead, they're going to want to run the ball. And y'all got to show them.
And they had the horses to do it, too.
And y'all got to show me that y'all can do that on a consistent basis, that y'all can actually tackle and do all those kind of things solidly on defense to actually stop them. Do not let them get a lead late in that third quarter, fourth quarter, because they will bleed that clock. Tuck, go ahead, sir.
All I'm just going to say is I'm going to keep my Clemson Notre Dame stuff
until Thursday.
Yes, but you're 100% correct. But anyway, back to this game. Clemson, y'all got a little problem, and it's called y'all secondary. Y'all secondary is going to get y'all in trouble. Eventually,
super talented, but
super talented. But
it's some of them safeties.
They're just a little young. I think they don't have the experience. Their communication is off. It was several blown coverages because the Notre Dame transfer, matter of fact, he was running wide open the whole first half. Nobody could guard him. Now, it's going to hurt. having Thomas out that first half against Notre Dame also. And that was
you know what? Dumb play.
Great point, because that was a stupid play.
I really think I don't know what he was thinking. You know, the thing is he jumped and then put his helmet down. And then Clemson fans didn't understand what was going on. They were booing the decision. So
I'm gonna tell you what he was doing, Tuck. He decided that he wanted to make an impact on his career to have a perfect targeting example tape for NCAA to use for the rest of their lives.
Because old buddy said on the cast, he was right now. He was like, that is the textbook example of targeting. He will be gone. like it wasn't even no debate. Like, he will be gone because that is the perfect example of, like Tuck said, not only did he jump, which was lead, and then he ducked his head. Like, bro, what is you? And he had just been, what are you doing?
And my whole thing is you launched.
Cannonball into a swimming pool, what he was doing.
Yeah, but that's all I got. It's gonna be hard for Thomas. I mean, it's gonna be that first half. If Ian Book, well, we'll talk about that. But that first half gonna be tough for Clemson next week. But hey, yeah, they needed some adversity again because it's going to build character. So by the time that I say about 3 or 4 more games or 2 or 3 more games, you're no longer young anymore. You should know what to do. To be honest with you, I think they should know what to do now. But again, COVID season. Shout out to Dave. COVID season.
Yeah. So let's move on, man. Let's move on to Ohio State and Penn State, man. Wow. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Justin Fields is on a mission. Leave the kid alone, bro. Leave the kid alone. Couple guys, Jeremy Ruckert caught 2 pair of touchdowns, but I'm telling you, man, those 2 receivers, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, I think.
Olave,
Olave,
yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, between them 2, man, I think they got a good 1-2 combo. Master Teague, you know, he had a better game. The offensive line had a better game for the Buckeyes this time. They had over almost 530 yards of offense. You know, you knew from the first play where Garrett Wilson took it back to that sweep for 62 yards. It's like I can't even go get a cracker and sit down, and they already scored. But you know, I think looking at it, man, I think Penn State is definitely more talented. I know they were really hurt by the opt-outs, man, with Micah Parsons and a couple other stuff, and then you know what they have going on with their running backs. But I tell you what, they got a receiver. That Jahan Dotson is an athlete. Hey, he's strong. From where? Pennsylvania.
Top, above the line.
Anyway, I'm just.
Y'all giving me 1 and 2 players. So
like, I'm just gonna keep you every week.
I'm gonna have to go in the research department. Research department. We're gonna have some more information for Tuck on Thursday. Okay. Above the line, we need.
Hey, when I see it, I have to point out. When I see it, I have to point out. So, but go ahead. So, what y'all got on this game?
I think for me, I mean, when you look at Ohio State, I think that when we say they're on a mission, they remember, you know, we had the whole deep conversation about did the guy run the wrong route? You know what I'm saying? We had that whole conversation about how they ended up ultimately losing the Clemson game. And sometimes I know we don't like to say it, but sometimes, man, that fuels people. And Ohio State right now, they were ahead of trying to play. They kept trying to play. They kept doing everything they could to play because they felt how they felt about their team and what they had coming back. And I just think, man, the way the Big Ten looks, I don't see it, man. They may have a scare, maybe with Maryland. Maybe Maryland could get them in a shootout, you know, a shootout type situation. But outside of that, man, them kids is aiming and they ready for the playoffs.
I said right when they started playing, Ohio State was going to win the Big Ten. That ain't changed my idea. Right. Penn State, like I said, Penn State had to go to the library or they had to go to the kitchen to find a running back because everybody was hurt. Right. I mean, I mean, just like to pick it back, like we said, those boys are on a mission. And I can't remember if we talked about it last year. I still think to this day that I can't remember his name. He ran the wrong route. It was an option route. He picked the wrong option because Fields was going opposite. Fields was going opposite way.
Oh, you talking about in the playoffs? Okay, yeah.
In the playoffs. No, yo, on Saturday night though, them boys was pinpoint. I think the only weakness I see right now, if I was nitpicking, and I'm very nitpicking, is Ohio State special teams. They're going to have to get better because they're going to need them down the line. As far as punting and as far as field goal kicking. Don't get me wrong, I think the wind was kind of swirling around a little bit because it was swirling around all across the country. So if I had to nitpick anything, it's going to have to be special teams. They're going to get
I would nitpick one other thing. I'm not sure that Shaun Wade is comfortable being that primary corner. I know was a great quote unquote supposed to be first round draft pick. I don't see him being as comfortable being that number one corner and taking on their guys across the field. I'm gonna keep a close eye on that secondary. Especially with the guy that got hurt at the end of the game. I'm not 100% sold on him yet as far as the secondary goes. Because when I think about teams like Ohio State, Clemson, you think about their long term. Bama, you think about long term, like, okay, what's gonna happen when they get out these conferences and get in the playoffs? Like, bruh, if you do what you did Saturday and you play Bama, you just gonna just hang it up. But that's for a whole nother time. So let's move on from that game. Great job, Ohio State. You did what the spread said you were going to do. Great job. Texas and Oklahoma State.
Game of the day, baby. Game of the day, baby.
First of all, thank you, Texas, for making my pick right. Appreciate that. I appreciate you.
We appreciate
it.
Hey, Tuck. Thank you, Texas. Y'all know some people. Tuck is very, He sent me. He honored his bet. He did. He honored his bet. But he was disrespectful in the bet. Tuck was like, Texas, here go your money, nigga. I'm like, dang, Tuck. he turned it to the mad rapper from the Biggie album on us, man.
Well, it's all good. But anyway, off of the bet part, back to the game. Mm-hmm. I do want to shout out Texas linebacker Joseph Asai. 12 tackles, 6 for loss, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. Hey, man, Oklahoma State, bruh, y'all should have won the game. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oklahoma State had 530 yards to 278 to Texas, but you also had 4 turnovers to 0. And as we always see in those games like that, man, those are turnovers and penalties are always and will always be killers and always be determination of a game, how it goes and what happens. Because you had Tylen Wallace went off for Oklahoma State. Chuba Ben got me saying the name all wrong. Between him talking about Chuba all the time and Chuba.
I'm sorry, it's Chuba. It's Chuba Herbert. I'm sorry, not Chuba. It's Chuba.
Chuba Herbert. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a lot of yards, but I just don't know. I don't know. I look at that game and I think that having Texas won because that's what I picked, but I think Oklahoma State should have won the game. Go ahead, Tuck. I know you dying. Go ahead and say it.
Man, what the hell? Yo, 4 turnovers. That was I think they scored 21 points off turnovers.
That fumble was the death blow.
I was like, what are y'all doing? And then in overtime, what was the play calling? I'm like, are y'all serious? Not y'all just gonna run on 3rd and 16, gonna run it looked like a trap play. It got 5 yards. Okay, I understand we might want to get it on try to go for it on 4th down, but bruh, and then y'all call a stretch out play to roll out to the right, which is not the field side, but the boundary side. And then he's running for his life, and then he gets tripped up, and the game's over with. What kind of play calling were you doing in the second half or in overtime? I don't know. I don't know. And it's sad because I looked at the game like, all right, Oklahoma State is about 21 points. There's no way that Sam Ehlinger can come back with 21 points down.
Do you not believe in the legend of Sam?
Hold on, you don't believe in the legend of Sam.
We all believe in the legend of Sam. Gus Johnson told us. Gus Johnson told us to believe in the legend of Sam.
First of all, let me tell you, in the text, he said, "Oh, it's over." No. You said that. You said that. You text that in the message. Oh, it's over. I was like, okay, it's over. I did too. Listen, y'all talking about, oh, they came back. I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, okay. So, but shout out to Texas though. I got a frat bro. He's a huge Texas fan. I give him junk all the time. But yeah. I mean, shout out to Sam Ellinger. He had to keep playing. You just can't stop. You can't stop with 4 turnovers and not score. But hey, if those 4 turnovers did not occur, you're looking at a beatdown.
Well, don't forget about the rough and the punter, rough and the kicker.
Man, they both of them had it was to the point where they both were just like, you know what, we're just gonna throw it deep and get the flag. Because a couple of those throws on both sides were just like, okay, pass interference, we're gonna roll with it. And I know it's rare that we're gonna talk about Texas defense, and I'm not saying the Texas defense did an amazing job, but they were opportunistic. And that is truly the reason why they won this game. We can talk about Sam and his moxie and all of that stuff as to how they ended up eventually pulling it off. But without those turnovers, without the defense actually doing their job, they're not even in that position to even win the game. So right. For a change, this is one of those times where Sam, you did what you were supposed to do, but this game, hats off to Texas's defense in this game.
Ellinger is not in the Heisman conversation only because of Texas record, which has always been my issue with the Heisman. It's like you can't just say, "Oh, his team." I get it. I know why, but it's like we got to either change the criteria or look at it different. I get it. You're supposed to look at the fact that team is winning and all that kind of stuff like that. But man, it's got to be some type of award or something out there for get recognition for someone like Ellinger to come back and do what he do. Because
the thing about him, man, and I think that was one of the things they said in the broadcast was just like with him, because he's been there and done it, no moment is big for him. So whenever Texans are in those moments and they know that he's going to go out there and do what he needs to do, they're confident in him. As long as he's down by a certain amount, they're confident that he can somehow muster up enough magic and bring them back. So
I'm with you on that.
Big 12, y'all keep doing this to yourself. Y'all keep doing this to yourself.
Well, they ain't dead yet. I ain't considering nobody dead yet, but their chances.
Man, they keep doing it, man. They keep doing it to themselves, man.
Their chances are in a less than 1% kind of range for some stuff right now. Yeah. But moving on, because we ain't gonna keep y'all all night tonight. Let's move on to Cincinnati and Memphis. Man,
damn. God.
Before we even get into the game, just look at him again.
North Memphis.
What did we tell him about Memphis?
What was Project Pat and Juicy J and Kingpin Skinny? Shout out to Kingpin Skinny Pimp, but a lot of y'all don't even remember Kingpin Skinny Pimp, man.
Can I ask a question?
Where was y'all representatives? Because you know what, Memphis, y'all look bad, man.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Do any of those people play football?
Hey man, I had to give a little hip hop into the show. Just bring a little hip hop into the show.
I'm with the hip hop, but I'm trying to bring how is that validated?
Because they wasn't talking about with the game, man. They got housed. I mean, it was an embarrassment.
To bring this back, we're gonna meet DJ Double Those mics since he don't want to listen to nobody when we tell him that Memphis was last in passing defense.
They beat UCF.
What does that have to do with the price of greens?
Look, I said the only way this is gonna be a shootout is if they go to Orange Mound and they're going to. I told you that. I said that and said, Ben, it's not gonna be a shootout. There's no way possible.
There were two things. They were last in passing defense, and Cincinnati has a stingy defense. So I'm saying, like, okay, you put those two things together. So speaking of that, they sacked Brady White 6 times while holding the Tigers to their fewest points since scoring 10 in a loss to who? Auburn in the Birmingham Bowl, December 30th, 2015. Desmond Riller, he did it. He's a Ritter. Whatever. Threw 3 touchdown passes and ran for 2 scores. So I looked at that game, man. It just was not. It was not a comp game. You could just tell it was gonna happen.
I looked at it the first half and I was like, "Oh, this is a wrap." There's no way. There's no way that Memphis can play with Cincinnati. I mean, I already said to myself in my pick, I was like, "Don't what they go get in the shootout." Like I said, they bring some real Memphis guys in there, Orange Mound, to come down to do this. But you didn't listen, man. You did not listen. You didn't listen to it. We all and we was all like, "What? Could you pick first?" And you picked strong too.
I was strong with it. I came with it. I had the courage of my conviction.
Because you 5 foot. Oh man.
Your conviction should have stopped you. But moving on. Shout out to Luke Fickle. Luke Fickle, that stock just keep rising, bro.
Oh yeah, somebody gonna come. Somebody gonna come.
Let's see what we got here. Let's move on. This is definitely gonna be quick. Alabama, Mississippi State, man. Before we even get to what Alabama looks like, or anything like that, real quick, I just got to say about Mississippi State. Mike Leach, your first shutout ever. You actually should have got it a couple weeks ago when you had that safety save that shutout. But let me tell you something, Mike Leach. You got players leaving. You got lots of. I understand how that happens, especially in this season. But, bro, I see no diversity in your office. You're being as stubborn as Gus Malzahn right now. You are not. Then when you run the ball, you was actually getting you're being stubborn, Mike. It's just not going to be ending well for you if you don't make some type of adjustment to what you got going on.
Look, Renard, I was thinking about this. I know it's highly, highly unlikely, but if they keep losing players and things keep going completely wrong down there, do you really think it's a possibility that he may be one and done?
No,
I doubt it, but it's not looking good, man, at all.
I will say this about them losing players. Normally, those type of things happen either before the season or after season.
Right.
But with the way the season is set up, and the way kids are now with the transfer portal and things like that, you just got a lot more people that's like, I'm just gonna opt out. I'm done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna move forward. I'm just gonna do what I need to do. I think you just got a lot more of that. But if he's doing this and people are not really fitting what he's doing, you gotta give him a chance to get some people in. But the optics and what seems to be going on down there just don't look good. So
right, and I guess that's what I mean, because like when you look at your best player has pretty much said, and he played. It's not like he opted out at the beginning of the season. Y'all played a couple of games. And Kylan Hill was clearly a part of your offense. Right. And then now he's like, I'm gone. I'm done. Because we got 2 guys from the team. We got Jeremy Jones and Fabian Lovett. I mean, that came from Mississippi State as well. But it's just like you said, the optics of it is just not looking good. I know contracts and all of that stuff, so I know it's a little difficult to just chunk the deuces to somebody in 1 year. But it's just not looking good at all, Leach.
I'm gonna give him time because Mike Leach is a quirky kind of guy. It might not show on the field this year, but I need to see what they're gonna do program wise and moving forward. So before we get off Mississippi State, so you got anything else on Mississippi State before I move to Alabama?
Just the fact like what y'all were talking about. I mean, he's going to have to adapt. He got that little Gus syndrome a little bit. He's going to have to mix it up, and that's when people, when people was like, "Oh, I see Mike Leach is taking over the SEC." No, first of all, this was a different type of program when they played LSU, and we all see LSU's secondary is not that good.
Still bad.
Flat, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, back to I think his problem is he's going to have to run the ball a little bit, and people are saying he's going to take over the SEC. I said no. Once ACC gets 1 game of film, that's all it's going to take, bro. But so he's going to have to mix it up. And I feel bad for Kylan Hill because man, he was toting that thing.
Yeah,
and they was using him in the passing game.
But that's what I'm about to say. And he was up in his stock because, like we was pointing out in those first couple of games, he had several games with a lot of catches. So that was actually put in more and more time because we always know with these guys and going to NFL, they want to see what they can do outside of running. We know you're a good running back. Can you catch the ball? And he was actually doing that. So to me, it was looking like he was gelling somewhat in the offense that they were trying to run. But like we said, we don't know what all was going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors. And he's chosen basically at this point to tap out. So we'll see how they go moving forward.
Well, I think what we need to do, maybe one of these shows, we'll get a Mississippi State team beat writer or insider or someone on there. Let's just see, you know, what we got. We got some questions for them and see where they feel like the direction of the program going. How's the alumni feeling? How's the fan base feeling? And are they sticking with them? But moving on to the Alabama side real quick. I mean, you know, y'all can get mad all y'all want to, but I don't have much to say. People was actually criticizing this team on Saturday about the way they was looking without Waddle. And I'm saying, like, they talking about he was throwing to Devontae too much. And I'm saying, like, he was housing every dude that they put in front of him. And then they were running that stupid cat blitz. They were running that stupid corner blitz all the time and leaving him on this safety. I'm like, what in God's name are you doing?
Renard, what's the saying goes? If you can't stop it, why am I gonna go away from it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not stopping this, so why am I gonna go away from something that you're not stopping?
And you know,
like, to me, that's just crazy.
And you know what's the craziest thing being? Mississippi State was like the #1 ranked overall like defense in the SEC.
That's what I was just about to say. They was the #1 ranked defense and going into the game. I was like, how is this? What? Who were they playing?
It's their front seven.
Like, you know what? I see why they're #1.
But it's their front seven too. Their front seven actually competed.
Yeah, that was why they did, because a lot of those teams were not quote unquote. They weren't quote unquote spread. They were quote unquote more of a downhill running with more play action, almost like Auburn. So that's why they were #1 defense. But that secondary got toast. I mean, burnt all game long.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I like the concepts of the new defensive coordinator. I think they did good. I just think that he just should have, like, you cannot put a safety one-on-one with Devontae Smith.
No,
that's just not gonna happen, bro. That's not. I mean, I know what you was trying to do. You were trying to create pressure. I understand it from a defensive mindset. But I mean, you know, the dude had 11 catches for 203 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, you know what I'm saying? 4
touchdowns.
And then he comes to the sideline. You had Jalen Waddle sitting on the sideline shaking his head like, dang, you have to do old dude like that. Like,
he about to break the Bama record. At this point, I think he need
SEC.
1 or 2 more?
SEC record. He's
tied. I'm talking about the all-time record of Bama as far as career touchdowns, because he's about to pass Coop. If I'm not mistaken, he's about to pass Coop.
Yeah, but
with the next couple of touchdowns.
The overall SEC record, he tied that Saturday. So the next one, he becomes the SEC all-time leader in receiving touchdown pass. And you know he's going to get it in probably the next game. That's crazy. I mean, look,
because look at who they
let's talk about Mac Jones, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Look, I'm sorry, y'all. How many superlatives do y'all want me to put on y'all right now? The game is y'all doing what you're supposed to be doing. Alabama is Alabama right now, and you're rolling and you do what you're supposed to do. The defense, you want to talk about anything, you can talk about the defense. Everybody still have their opinions about the defense and different things like that. I think they play better in spots. And I think the best thing I heard today on the radio when Jim Dunaway said, Alabama games get to the point you have to nitpick to find things. And that's right. And that's where it is right now. You're nitpicking to find things about the defense. You really can't say great things about the defense right now. Not nothing bad. Can't say great things because of the offense they went up against that just didn't want to do anything. But I don't know, man. Alabama is rolling. To me, Alabama's the #1 team in the country. I felt that way 2 weeks ago. I feel like they're the most complete team right now in the country. And I feel like their weaknesses is better. I put it like this: their weaknesses is better than other team weaknesses. So but we will hold off to see how they happen.
I really think Ohio State is #1 team in the country. By looking at the eye test and looking at everything, I really think Notre Dame. I mean, not Notre Dame. I really think Ohio State is the number. Don't judge me. I don't use headphones either way. But I really don't think that. I really think Ohio State, as far as top to bottom. Okay. Like I said, special teams are their biggest thing, and like you said, secondary. But Alabama has the same thing, secondary. Their kicker, they have a kicker this year, but I really think that they're the #1 team. But going back to Alabama, like you said, They're slinging it all over the park, and that's why I remember when we were talking about before Walter got hurt. Right. Ben was like, "Well, how do you guard them?" Because pretty much, if you would put in the slot, and Wardell was in the slot, that's what's going to happen with Deontay Smith. He's going to do the exact same thing.
Right.
You can't double nobody because that's what's going to happen. But I understand what their defense was. The coordinator was, I think, trying to do. He was trying to put some pressure on the quarterback because they wasn't getting no pressure in the front seven because Alabama offensive line is probably in the top 5 in the country. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to get you're not going to get pressure unless you bring some extra people. So he'll be trying to bring blitzes from somewhere that Matt Jones ain't seen. One thing about Matt Jones, that boy studies. He's going to study that whole offense. He's going to know everybody. That whole defense. He's going to know everybody on that team. So they did a good job. They did what they were supposed to do. I definitely didn't think they were going to score. I thought they were going to score some points because of that secondary, but Surtain, maybe he's turned the corner.
We'll see how they move forward when it comes to this game.
I think a lot of, and I think what we've for you Bama fans, some of y'all, we know some of y'all we get hit up all the time about. Again, we're gonna find out the way this season is shaping up. Y'all gonna be in the playoffs the way it's looking. So just relax. As we say, don't worry about should we move up to 1. If you're 2, if you're 1 or 2, it don't. At this point, it really does not matter. I promise you.
Well, you want to be 1. You want to be.
You want to be 1, but I wasn't gonna go there about that because we talked about that off camera. I get why you probably don't want to be 2. I get that, but you're gonna have your chance to prove yourself in the playoffs, man. So just calm down.
We'll see what happens with that. Moving on to the last game, man. So we can wrap up and get out of here. We got Auburn LSU, man. And when it comes to this game was surprising. I picked LSU not because I thought LSU was just so much better, but I just thought that Auburn was gonna crap the bed again. Everybody knows where my allegiance lies, but I would just say, a few things about this game, and then I'm gonna move on because we need to wrap it up. Everybody saw the game. Everybody know what's going on. The crazy thing, South Carolina beats Auburn. LSU mud stomped South Carolina. Auburn turned around and beat LSU. That just goes to show you different things, different games.
It's just week to week, man. You just cannot. I think y'all taught me that. We used to talk about that a lot, where you can't. Sometimes you can take away from what a team does versus another team, and sometimes you just truly can't. Because y'all both had a common opponent. But in theory, you would look at it and say, okay, such and such did this against South Carolina. They did this against South Carolina. Okay, this game should be somewhat evenly matched, but you can't go off that. And if nothing proved that Saturday, damn sure did.
Well, the thing about it is different. Every game is different. The difference between the South Carolina game, Auburn was controlling that game. Auburn turned the ball over in that game. Right. LSU last week didn't know about TJ Finley. They got him a good game plan. So Auburn had another week to game plan for Finley and to see some of the things that he was successful with against South Carolina take it away. That's why I say it's week by week. But back to what I was saying about the game. Auburn's best game on offensive line and defensive line. Defensive line got pressure. The secondary, this is not my words. Roman Harper said most complete secondary in the SEC. He didn't say best. He said the most complete. I understand why he said that. Tuck, you are never they could be, and you would never anyway. That's his word.
Tuck ain't never happy.
I ain't got nothing.
First of all, anything that Roman Harper tells us.
God, here we go.
First thing, if anything Roman Harper tells us, I'm not gonna believe it because he needs to get a stylist. Can somebody go help him style?
I'm gonna get my point out sooner or later.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get my point out. Can I just finish my point? I didn't say
you got it. We both on mute.
I didn't say I agreed with him. I didn't say anything. I just said that's just what the man said. The defensive line played much better, getting all blocks, doing all that kind of good stuff like that. Offensive wise, man, I for all the criticism both these guys, you gotta shut up this week and get a guy credit for what he did. I don't care what he was playing. I don't care if Stingley was still out there, even though he was on self a lot of times. You got to give the guy credit. JJ Pius, however you say his name, I'll never say his name right. We're gonna start calling him the refrigerator tight end. That's what his new name is. Freight train coming through the 300 pounds.
Was that big number 89? Was that his number? Yeah.
That's Mr. High School quarterback. Played quarterback and tight end and defensive line in high school. The dude is super. Huh?
I said, and he can hoop.
They showed him firing up them threes in the game. They showed him firing them threes up.
He is an athletic freak. I will say that he is an athletic freak, man. But the other thing you take away from it is the fact, they got Eli Stowe back involved. I like the game plan. I think Chad is finally getting more comfortable with the fact of some of the personnel he had. It was good to see Kobe Hudson out there blocking, and it was good to see Mark Anthony Richards finally carry the ball. One big stat was no red zone trips for LSU. They never got in the red zone. They shouldn't have got the points they got, but
oh man,
you got to move on. You got to move on from it. I think it was a good, solid game for Auburn. They needed it, and that's just where we are with that. So I'll let y'all give y'all thoughts on it.
All I'm just gonna say is, I did pick Auburn to win because I talked off camera. I told Renard I had a feeling that this was going to be just like Auburn in 2014 when LSU came to Jordan Hare and got demolished, boat raced, and everything above. I had a feeling this was going to happen. And another reason why I picked Auburn was because Bo Nix plays way better at home.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, so, and I was like, okay, if all those things come together, I think this is not going to be close. Everybody, including some people that I know closely, and they listen to this show, was trying to put on the mantle this young man to be the next Marcus Russell. Yes, he has the stature. But stature does not do nothing for you when you just sitting back there like a statue.
He would not run.
He would not. He couldn't move. Again, the defensive line, I think, like we said, finally starting to come together. They're starting to find a groove. Because don't get me wrong now, that LSU offensive line, they some beasts.
They wasn't the beasts on Saturday. They look terrible.
They look terrible. And I don't know, like, what happened? Because Emory was running the ball. They didn't run the ball with Emory. They didn't run the ball with I can't remember their second running back. They couldn't run with them.
And then take no downfield shots.
No, and then Marshall.
Secondary were locking them up.
Marshall, where you at, cuz? Because I told people Marshall was not going to do what anybody thought he was going to do. Like he did everybody else the whole year. Marshall was not going to get off on Auburn, bro, because Auburn been holding every receiver below their standard.
Shout out to the secondary for second week in a row taking down some people.
And Christian Tutt, they think you kin to me, but his name is Tutt, not Tutt. And I just want everybody to know, Christian, you played a hell of a game, bro. You played one hell of a game. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you becoming a ball like you used to be.
Like you used to.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last
Thank
year.
you.
Thank you.
Oregon.
Well, my synopsis is 2 parts, Renard. I'm just gonna go here with it. I don't think that I've seen a national champion fall from grace this damn fast. The way it's looking. The way it's looking. And y'all know we got some faithful LSU listeners who listen to the show. Too many to name. Y'all know who y'all are. We haven't done Plead the Fifth in a while. So mine is going to tie in real quick because we're going to get up out of here in under an hour. LSU fans, y'all talked a lot. And I was with you. I understood. It had been a long time.
I told you.
But, bro, y'all talked a lot, man, the offseason. Yeah, we even was pointing out the fact that you were losing coaches. You lost damn near the whole team. It don't matter. We gonna roll. LSU fans, right now, you got that monster coming up on the 14th. Hey, y'all, just chill. I wouldn't even go through the whole spit and tell you shit because right now, everybody know y'all ain't got much to talk about. So just chill, man, because that monster that y'all beat with Clyde last year, oh, they ain't forgot. I'm sure they got posters and everything else up in their locker room ready to come to Baton Rouge on the 14th. So just, right now, LSU fans, just go on and plead the fifth for the rest of the year. Just gonna play the field for the rest of the year.
I'm
Just chill.
I'm not on that train yet because it's something about that. It's something about that game at LSU, bro. Watch it.
And y'all know how I feel about Bama, but no, not this one.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Then you just learn about not going from week to week, and you gonna get them 2 weeks. I'm not saying they're gonna win the game. See, they know how bad they look. See, they know how crappy they look. Just like Georgia offensive line looked crappy that first week against Arkansas. And I'm saying, like, y'all dogging this line, watch them get it together. They won the top 3-4 lines in the nation, and they got it together. And I'm telling you right now, if they get some people back, if Brennan comes back, and I'm not saying this, I'm talking about to have a good competitive game.
Competitive, not get blowed out. I got you. I got you.
Maybe. And that's all a maybe.
Maybe.
I'm just saying I expect them to look better than they did on Saturday. I expect them to compete better than they did on Saturday.
I got you.
That's why I ain't like that. Whew. Let me clear that up. Holler at me in 2 weeks and we'll see. The
14th. The 14th.
Yeah, I'm not pulling that trigger. But anyway, look, man, we're gonna keep this thing right. We're gonna keep it right an hour. Really want to be under an hour, but look, we will come back Thursday night. Whatever you do, Thursday night, tune in to us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Follow the show, like and subscribe. Tell another
Periscope too. Shout out to Periscope, no, because you had some people that was watching the show on Periscope.
I said Twitter. Oh, so Twitter.
I said Periscope.
Yeah, I said Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, because Twitter is Periscope. Periscope is Twitter's video.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Hey, granddaddy, let daddy talk.
My bad. I didn't know. I didn't know it was a conglomerate. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Tuck, you stupid, man. But anyway, man, y'all so crazy. I can tell. Look, once again, follow the show at DSL Podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and we'll be live. And when you do Twitter and Periscope, same thing. Live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Follow us, like and subscribe. Hit that bell. Also, if there's something in here that y'all want to see us do, man, please put it in the comment section. We take any comment, man. Y'all can always hit us up. If there's something y'all would like for us to change or do better, hit us up, talk to us. But anything else, man, if nothing else, we'll see y'all Thursday night. Dave, sorry you had to work, man.
What's up, man?
Soon, man? But it's your boy at Renard D. Williams. You see right there, hit me up on Twitter. Then we got your boy at Chauncey Tuck. Hit him up right there on Twitter. And at I am DJ Double Dose, man. If nothing else, man, this your boys at Down South Football Podcast, man, and we out, and we'll see you Thursday night live.
Holla at y'all, man. See y'all Thursday, man. More predictions, more bets.
Money.
Yeah, we gonna